If I didn't want to talk to y'all, I didn't have to.
We're gonna wait for rescue.
Y'all gonna tase me because I don't want to talk to y'all?
Yo, talk to us.
No, it's not.
Yo, what was going on earlier?
I don't want to talk about that situation.
Yo.
Let me go, Carl. Let me go, Carl.
Stop.
Let me go, Carl.
No.
Let me go. Let me go.
As of right now.
Carl, let me go.
You don't want to talk to us?
Just stay still.
Do you see me with a gun? Do you see me with a gun?
Do
you see me with a gun?
No.
Okay then.
A bunch of kids brought guns inside the store, and we were working on it, and then one of them...
Hey, what's up guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. In today's video, we will be covering one of the most egregious cases of contempt of cop I've ever seen. Officer McCarthy and Officer Carter of the Sunrise Police Department in Florida received a call for service from a local convenience store. The owners informed the officers that an altercation had taken place between a few male juveniles in their store. Thankfully, there was no violence reported, just an exchange of words. It was also reported that one of the juveniles was in possession of a firearm. As the store owners were showing the security footage to the officers, two males walked into the store. The owner told the officers that the two males were present when the altercation had occurred. Officer McCarthy then attempted to question the men about the incident. When they refused, that's when things took a turn for the worse. As you watch this video, I want you all to keep in mind that Officer McCarthy had no reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime, therefore could not legally detain anyone. Stay tuned to the end for Officer McCarthy's deposition, where the public defender exposes her lack of knowledge on the law and our constitutional rights. Let's get into it.
Carl, you know what happened. Stop playing crazy.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he wasn't there like that running the bank.
Were you here earlier?
If I would have lost my life, he would have been looking shitty.
Yo, talk to us.
No, it's not.
Yo, what was going on earlier?
It's not.
But you guys were obviously, you guys were on freaking camera.
Alright, it's not. Why would you spin the phone?
Yo, come over here for a second.
What?
Let's come talk.
Now come over here.
No.
What? We don't want to talk about that situation.
Yo, you can either talk to us now or you can talk to us.
Come back over here.
What's up?
Where you going, bro?
I don't want to talk about
Get over here. Okay, well, then we'll talk to you.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all tighten up. Quick.
We need to stop. Stop.
Fellow Patriots, unfortunately, YouTube did not allow me to post the full uncensored video of this incident due to its graphic nature. If you'd like to watch the full uncensored version, you can do so by joining my Patreon or becoming a We the People channel member. Information on how to sign up is in the description of this video.
Stop. All you had to do was fucking listen.
God, on my soul, I'm gonna sue the fuck out y'all out, Carl.
Anything.
A nigga put a stick out on me and not tase me, Carl. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, Carl. Fuck. Y'all like geeking, Carl. I don't got no type of weapons on me, no nothing. Nigga just got off work, Carl. Fuck, Carl.
Go ahead and take this out.
Huh?
Fire rescue's gonna come. Fire rescue is coming.
Hey, just
Now you want to Carl? Come on, Carl.
You have a taser prone.
Just stay still, okay?
You should have never did that shit.
Just stay
I
still.
didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk.
I
I don't have to talk to you.
Stay still.
3 units still rolling.
Just stay still, you okay?
Carl, don't talk to me on that sweet shit, Carl. Fucking with your ass. That shit fucking hurt, Carl. If I didn't want to talk to y'all, no, bro. If I didn't want to talk to y'all, I didn't have to.
We're gonna wait for rescue.
Y'all gonna tase me because I don't want to talk to y'all? Y'all racist as fuck.
No. There's fucking guns in the convenience store. You were in there. That's why you're fucking cuffed. You don't want to talk to us.
Just stay still.
Do you see me with a gun? Do you see me with a gun? Do you see me with a gun?
No.
Okay
That's
then.
what we want to fucking talk about. We didn't finish getting the
Carl,
video.
my shirt was
We have
off,
witnesses.
Carl. I didn't even have my shirt all the way on.
Yo.
You would have seen the
You need
pistol.
to stop.
No.
That's the
You're
reason
not tripping, Carl.
why you don't want to listen or comply. That's why you're in cuffs. That's
You're
why
racist.
We're
You're
not
racist.
We're doing an
You're
investigation.
racist. You're racist.
Okay.
What the fuck? Y'all just tased me for no fucking reason. Bitch, if I don't want to talk, I don't have to talk to y'all. Y'all got cameras, y'all. If y'all see on,
We have cameras.
now look, when y'all see on the cameras, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm suing y'all on my soul. I don't want you to touch me, Carl.
You
Get
have
off
2
me.
prongs. You're gonna stay on your side.
Bro, get off me, bro. Stop
Right
touching me,
here.
Carl. You talking about you right here, bitch? You tased me for no reason.
Thank
The
you.
fuck? You trying to be sweet and y'all just tased me for no reason,
Can you
Carl.
explain why?
You just stay just like that.
Carl, you racist as fuck, Carl.
You Christopher?
Bitch, that's what it say.
Okay. Just making sure.
You get no respect.
I got your
from
ID
you,
right
puss-ass
here.
cracker. Y'all are racist as fuck, Carl.
No.
What you tasing for?
Resisting.
Resisting what?
Investigation.
Cause if y'all wasn't trying to slam me, Carl, I would have got my ass on the floor, Carl.
Because you didn't want to cooperate. It
Carl.
was as simple. You weren't in cuffs, and that's what happened now. We were doing an investigation. You obviously
I had
watched
nothing to
description
do
here
with
on
that.
TV.
Bro, what? Cause y'all don't make no sense, Carl.
You gotta get up, alright? Stand up.
Careful.
Yeah, you good.
Okay, just don't hit the prongs. Put your foot up. There you go. Alright, take a seat.
Alright, go ahead and just lay on your side, alright? Yeah, there you go.
Who's riding with him? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, where
Willie's
is
riding.
Berryman? Where's
I
Berryman?
don't think he showed up, did he?
We're okay. There's nothing else on scene. We were working on video inside. A bunch of kids brought guns inside the store, and we were working on it. And then one of them came back in with his brother. So that's why. So there was like a rifle that one of the kids had. So that's why we went out with him, and he didn't want to.
Oh, this is 22 with the rifle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's stemming from this. We were trying to get video from the guy,
And the kid
then
walked
they
in.
walked back in. And then the guy's like, these are the kids. So.
You sure you don't want me to move your car?
So that's why.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the young man who was tased and arrested for simply exercising his constitutional rights is named Curtis Wilson. He was charged with resisting without violence, aka contempt of cop. The district attorney's office ultimately did the right thing and declined to prosecute Curtis, but not before his public defender, Corey Zinman, had the opportunity to depose the arresting officer, McCarthy.
Alright, my name is Jonathan Cameron. I'm a Deposition. We're here in the case of State of Florida versus Christoph Wilson. This is case number 22005199. MM10A. Today's date is December 9th. The time is about 1:02 p.m. and present for the public defender is Corey Zinman. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and spell it clearly for the record.
Colleen McCarthy, COLLEENMCCARTHY.
Thank you.
Alright, good afternoon, Officer McCarthy. Is it officer?
Yes.
Alright. My name is Corey Zinman. I'm the assistant public defender that's been assigned to this case. At the outset, because this is a remote deposition, I have to ask a few preliminary questions. First, are you currently by yourself in a private place and outside of the earshot of all others?
Correct. I'm in my police vehicle and nobody else inside.
Perfect. If at any point during this deposition that changes and you're no longer in private, just let me know and we will pause until you are.
Okay.
Alright, can you hear and see me clearly?
Yes.
Alright, if at any point during this deposition you can no longer hear or see me clearly, just let me know and we'll pause and fix the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever given a deposition before?
Yes.
Alright, do you have any questions about what we're about to do here today?
No.
Alright. Just as a reminder though, can you just try to answer questions with like yes or no or just with verbal responses, because with it's hard for the court reporter to get down the actual responses.
Yes.
Thank you. And as well, if at any point, well actually let me ask, did you write any reports in this case?
Yes. I was the arresting officer.
Right, so you wrote the complaint affidavit?
Yes.
And did you write any other reports?
I wrote the probable cause affidavit, which is the arrest form, and the main police report.
Understood. And did you have an opportunity to review those reports before this deposition?
Yes.
Right. And if at any point during this deposition you need to refer to those reports for information, that's perfectly acceptable, but can you just please let me know when you're doing so we can discern whether you're testifying from the report or from your independent recollection?
Yes.
And And do you have an independent recollection of this case?
I do.
All right. So why don't you start with how you became involved in this case?
We got a call about people inside a convenience store. Somebody had guns, and then somebody ran through the back door. So myself and Officer Carter arrived on scene, and we made contact with the store owner.
What do you recall the location of the incident?
Yeah, it's 1201 Sunset Strip.
And that's the Shop and Save convenience store?
Yes.
And you said you made contact with the owner?
Yeah, I think it's Mohammed Hussein, I believe.
Okay, and what did the owner tell you?
He said that there was just males inside the store with guns, and then somebody went running out of the back. So it was just kind of, he was working on video, which took quite an extended period of time. Just to kind of, because I think he described that there was a rifle that somebody had, and it seemed like there was a lot of people that were in there.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I should have asked you at the outset, what agency are you currently employed by?
City of Sunrise Police Department.
Right, and how long have you been with City of Sunrise?
6 years.
And in what capacity do you work for City of Sunrise?
I'm a road patrol officer.
And have you ever worked for any other law enforcement agencies?
No, I have not.
All right. Okay, so you described to me an altercation in the store and something about a rifle. Was that the extent of the information that was relayed to you at the time that you responded to the scene?
Oh, yeah, for the most part, they said there was, juveniles in the store. They had guns. There wasn't an actual fight, but it's still concerning because there's weapons involved and there's people inside the store that have seen it. So, and then something about somebody running through the back. So, obviously concerned. Some possibly happened.
Right. Did the store owner say anything about anything being damaged in the store?
No.
Did he say anything that anything was stolen?
No.
Okay. So then what happened? Were you able to view the surveillance footage?
Yeah, not completely. They had a lot of trouble trying to pull it up, to rewind it, to get it back to the part. So we kept seeing bits and pieces of it. And from what when I say we, I mean Officer Carter, who was my backup, that was also there. From what I saw is there was a juvenile black male. There was guys wearing ski masks. There was a juvenile black male that appeared to be juvenile that had a full-size rifle tucked inside of his pants with the butt of the rifle sticking out. And there was also another appeared to be juvenile black male that had a handgun in his waistband. That is what I viewed on, from them. It's like they couldn't play it, but I think we were standing there for like 20 minutes trying to get the video, but from the bits and pieces so something obviously isn't right. There's people in ski masks, there's people with guns. So something, it's definitely something that I can't just be like, all right, have a good day. I have to further investigate, especially dealing with weapons.
I understand. So then what happened after you saw that footage?
While we were still reviewing camera footage, there's two juvenile black males that happened to walk back in the store, and the store owner who was behind the clerk. He's like, they were here. These are the kids. And Officer Carter and I start talking to him. They're like, what happened? Let's talk about this. And I can't recall if I asked, let's talk about this outside or whatnot, but they both start going out of the convenience store. The younger male, who I only knew as Quay, started running away, and then the other one, which is Christopher Holmes Wilson, kept walking away from me when I'm like, stop, let's talk about this. And he kept, I was giving him lawful commands to stop, and I eventually had to grab him and tell him that he wasn't free to leave. I was detaining him pending the investigation. So at that point, it's what's called reasonable suspicion that a crime A had occurred. You know, that's after the fact, so that's where we're going with that. So that I need to further investigate that, you know, if he's part of it, if he wasn't. And then obviously it turned into this whole big, you know, we had to go hands-on. A taser got deployed. We went, it wasn't successful. We went hands-on again. Taser got deployed again, and then he was ultimately detained. The other juvenile, Quay, you know, was we were so busy dealing with Christopher that, you know, we never got to figure out where he went. So the only reason why he was arrested was because of resisting. So I had to finish my investigation. But Officer Carter, I know, did follow up the following day, regarding like the full video and everything, but I don't know the extent. So I basically just, you know, just handled that.
So you referred to these individuals as Quay and Christopher Holmes Wilson. At the time that they walked into the store, did you know those individuals as Quay and Christopher Holmes Wilson?
No, I've never seen them before.
So you ascertained their identities after the fact, correct?
Correct.
And were those two individuals, were you able to identify them from the surveillance footage that was available to you?
From what I saw, it kept skipping so much, so I was not able. There's people wearing ski masks in there, so I didn't know if they were wearing ski masks, if they weren't. And it turns out after the fact, after I read Christopher Miranda, and he kind of calmed down and told me the story, him and, you know, Quay, they were actually the victims and everything. And they were trying to actually just get away from these guys that apparently were sitting outside in a car, which was, I think he said it was about like nine males in and out of a car. He saw a gun, and I guess Quay recognized them from school where they had beef with each other before. So I think they fled out the back to get away. But this could have been resolved extremely easily if he would have just stopped and talked to us and told us the story about everything. And we would have been able, we were right there basically getting the video so we could validate if his story was true, and there would have never been an arrest. There would have probably been a report written because there's obviously weapons involved. So.
Okay. All right. So, the question that I believe that I last asked you was, were you able to identify the individuals that walked into the store who you later identified as Quay and Christopher Holmes Wilson on their surveillance footage? And I believe that your answer was no, correct?
There was so many people in there that I was not able to make an ID because I did not fully get to watch the video in its entirety.
Okay.
Because I kept skipping.
At the time those individuals walked into the store, you were not able to identify them on the surveillance footage, correct?
I couldn't fully see the surveillance footage, so I wasn't able to make a positive identification. But with the owner of the store saying they were here before, you know, these are the kids. They pointed it out. That's enough reasonable suspicion on my part.
Can I just continue
to further investigate, and they're no longer free to leave.
Officer, while I really appreciate you educating me on the law, I'm just asking you very simple questions about whether or not you had identified those individuals by the time they walked into the store. So I believe the answer that I ascertained was no, you had not identified those individuals yet, correct?
Correct, because we were still investigating.
Right. Thank you. Okay. But you did say that the owner had identified those individuals, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did the owner identify those individuals as individuals who had been in possession of firearms?
All he said is that they were there earlier.
Okay. And is it against the law to be present at the scene of an altercation?
Do you want to expand on that?
It's a very simple question, yes or no.
What type of altercation? I don't know where you're going.
Okay. In the absence of any other facts to suggest that a person broke the law, is it against the law to merely be present at the scene of an altercation, even where guns may have been involved?
It depends. If the owner did not point to them, then they wouldn't have been. I had no clue that they were involved until the owner said they were here earlier. Which now, that obviously you're no longer, you know, he possibly committed a crime. So that just
possibly. But could you articulate a crime at that point? Because you told me that
still investigating.
Right.
That's why it's reasonable suspicion, because we're still investigating. If I have somebody saying these kids were here earlier, and I have video that I watched where there's clearly people in ski masks with guns carrying weapons inside of a convenience store, something happened. So,
Martha, I think you might want to brush up on reasonable suspicion, because it's not reasonable suspicion in general. It's reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
So can you
we're
please,
still investigating.
Right, but can you please articulate the crime that you originally detained Christopher Holmes Wilson for?
He was originally detained because we were still investigating if there's weapons violations, if there was a fight, if there was an actual altercation that happened regarding...
Did you ever see Mr. Wilson in possession of a firearm?
When I made contact with him, no, he did not have weapons.
Did anybody ever tell you that Mr. Wilson was ever in possession of a firearm?
Me talking to him and actually going physically hands-on with him, he did not have a weapon. Nobody told me that.
Did even the store owner tell you that that Mr. Wilson was involved, that was in possession of a firearm?
He only pointed. He only said
he was present, correct?
Right here.
I'm sorry. And the store owner merely said that he was present at the store, right?
He said that they were here earlier, and I needed to find out what their involvement was.
Right. You believe that you had a lawful duty to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
People where there's guns, there's people wearing ski masks that we don't know who their identity is, and then you have two, people that come back into the store when it's been like a 30-minute time delay, and they're there. The owner's saying they were just here. It's not the first. We've had a lot of incidents at the convenience store, so obviously there's something. I'm not okay with just being like, oh, okay, and just letting them go. I needed to find out their involvement, but when they started walking away and running away, that's a little clue to me that something's not right.
All right, but can you at least agree with me that if they were not lawfully detained, they did not have to, they were free to leave?
At that point, they're not free to leave.
But what I'm asking you is, let's just assume that they were not lawfully detained. Would Mr. Wilson have had a right to leave the convenience store?
What do you mean by lawfully detained, like in handcuffs?
No, I'm asking you, if you didn't have reasonable articulable suspicion to suspect that Mr. Wilson was committing, had committed, or was about to commit a crime, would he have been free to leave the convenience store?
Okay, in this call, I had reasonable suspicion, so he was lawfully detained at that point. He was not free to leave.
Okay, Officer McCarthy, I understand that is your position, but are you refusing to answer my question that I've asked you?
Vic, you're not giving me a little bit more details. There's a whole scenario that would go with it.
We could certify the question and bring it up to the judge if you'd prefer, or you could just...
Sure.
All right, cool. So, court reporter, can we please certify the question of whether the question was that if Mr. Wilson had not been lawfully detained, would he have been free to leave? Has the question been certified?
Yep.
Thank you, court reporter. And just to be clear, you're not asserting any legal privilege as to your refusal to answer that question?
So there just needs to be more detail about that, because it's the reason why I was there and what I was investigating. I know I had reasonable suspicion that he was no longer free to leave, and if you want to give me a different scenario, then we can go with it. But
I'm not sure how much more clear that I can be.
Present at the convenience store.
Officer McCarthy, I'm asking in the hypothetical. This really has... All right, let's not even talk about Mr. McCarthy. Let's just say that an individual who is not lawfully detained, are they allowed to leave? Are they allowed to walk away from you even though you're telling them to leave?
Just dealing with the public with a consensual encounter?
Like, okay, let's say that you and I encounter each other in public, and you tell me to stop, and I start walking away.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave because I have no crime on you.
Perfect. I think you just made my point.
That's what you're going with. But at that point, I can't validate that he wasn't involved in a crime. So that is reasonable suspicion because there's enough to articulate from the owner pointing out that the 2 kids were there, coupled with video.
I'm not gonna lie, that is scary to me. That is scary that you think that you could detain just anybody while you investigate like what potentially could be a crime. You need to have reasonable articulation.
Yes, especially dealing with weapons. So
no weapons were recovered. Correct. In fact, he was actually charged with resisting without violence, right?
Correct. Without. Yeah.
All right.
So I never got to finish my investigation because of the resisting charges.
So let's talk about what actually happened after the fact. So he obviously attempted to walk away from you, right?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I told him to stop. He disobeyed. He kept walking away, and I finally had to grab him and let him know that he's not free to leave. And then he started bracing and tensing and resisting. And then we got into a physical struggle that eventually led to Officer Carter deploying his taser.
He got into a physical struggle, but to be clear, once again, he's charged with resisting without violence. So when you say that, do you mean that you got into a physical struggle with him?
So I would hit him with violence if he was trying to physically attack me. He was bracing and tensing and resisting my attempts to detain him in handcuffs.
Right. So you got into a physical struggle with a man who was attempting to mind his own business.
Right. Well, that's what you think. He was obviously there, placed at the scene that something happened, and that's what I was trying to figure out. And for him to walk away and the other one to start running away, that doesn't sit well with me. And I need to verify that a crime did not occur, that he was part of something where a crime did not occur.
Okay. And what was the need to take him to the ground?
That's a better way to detain somebody in handcuffs.
Oh, in handcuffs?
Yes.
Right. And what was the need to put him in handcuffs?
I'm sorry?
What was the need to put him in handcuffs?
Because he's resisting.
Oh, so you were arresting him at that point?
So if he wanted to talk to me, no, he was detained, but because he's resisting, he's taking a ride. He's going to jail. If he doesn't want to cooperate with my investigation because he's not free to leave and he keeps wanting to resist, he's going to have to take the ride. So if he would have just stood there in the convenience store or went outside and spoke to me, he would have never gotten put in handcuffs. We could have resolved everything and he would have been on his way.
All right. But I'm just, so let's just be clear though, but when did the need to take him to the ground arise?
Because he kept resisting, we went hands-on, we couldn't get him to the ground, and verbal commands to stop resisting, to get on the ground. Usually it's just with police training that you want to take somebody to the ground because it's easier to control them.
Okay. But you're saying that he was resisting as of the moment he started walking away, right?
Yes.
So therefore he would have been under arrest as of that moment, right?
It depends on if he wants to comply. There's also discretion with law enforcement, but it depends on if he wants to comply. Because a lot of people are afraid of the police. I understand that. But if he wants to walk away and then, just not even acknowledge, my loud verbal commands for him to stop, and then when he wants to brace and tense and to further resist, he's no longer free to leave. Which he wasn't free to leave to begin with.
Right. And what was the need to deploy a taser?
Because he kept resisting. We could not detain him in handcuffs, so we went to a less lethal. There was no weapon.
You considered lethal force at any point in time during this interaction?
We went to a less lethal. That's a taser. A taser is a less lethal weapon. There was never lethal force.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
All right. So, but again, so the taser was deployed when he was already on the ground, though, right?
No, he was standing up.
And but he wasn't on the ground when he already was. The taser was deployed twice, though.
Yep.
So the second time it was deployed when it actually made contact with him, he was on the ground, right?
I'd have to refer back to my report to look at that.
Please do.
Sure. Okay, so the second taser deployment, I remember that Christopher was by a car. He initially got tased when he was up, and then he fell to the ground, and then I detained him in handcuffs.
So at no point was he ever tased when he was on the ground?
No.
Alright. And does your department have body-worn camera?
Yes, we do.
Alright, was it in use during the time of this altercation?
Yes, it was. However, after my body camera fell off, I know Officer Carter's, I believe, was on the whole time, and then responding officers, actually my body camera is on the ground, and I believe it malfunctioned, or I believe one of the backup officers ran over it, so mine stopped working, so I didn't have my body-worn camera working to transport him to the jail.
That's fine, I'm just glad.
Their body cameras were on from the beginning.
That should be very helpful when we deal with this in court. Alright, I don't really think. Is there anything else about your involvement in this case that you think is relevant for me to know?
Nope.
Okay. Have you understood all my questions?
Yes.
Have I given you an adequate opportunity to answer my questions?
Yes.
Is there anything about your testimony that you'd like to add or change today?
No.
All right, and just to be clear, the question that we certified earlier, you're still not willing to answer that. You actually want to come into court and have me file a motion, and explain to the judge why you wouldn't answer that question.
You gave me a different example about the hypothetical with you, but if you want to go into more detail on that, I'll be willing to answer.
I mean, it's just a very basic question of if Mr. Wilson was not lawfully detained, was he free to leave?
It's if you want to give me a backstory on that, like a scenario, if we're talking about the same scenario, because
we'll just deal with it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that sounds good.
Would you like to read or waive the reading of the deposition transcript?
Read, please.
You'll probably need that.
All right, guys, let me know what you think about this one in the comment section below. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.